Hi. If you can hear me, please drop a comment. Hi, Boluwatife. Good, good evening. How are you? If you can hear me, please drop a comment. I just need to know that we're together. Hi. Hi. How are you guys doing? Okay, so people are joining. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Demi Totbe. How are you doing? It's good to see your faces or your names again. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad to be back. So I'm just going to um so we're just going to wait for people to join in, people to start to join in. People to join in. Oh wait, yeah, hub representatives, please drop comments in your ops so that people can join. Good evening, everybody. We just want a few more people to join so that we can. Okay, hi Samuel, hi Fergo, hi David, hi Motunrayo, hi Ayomide, hi Uchunwa, hi Grace, hi Joanne, hi Niolua. Thank you so much. It's good to be back. It's good to have you guys here. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so while we're waiting for other people to join us, um, something sort of trended on Twitter like 2 days ago. I wouldn't say trend, but it was a sort of conversation. Can you guys hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? I want to be sure you guys can hear me clearly, and then I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear what you guys think about it in the comments. So if you can hear me like really clearly, please let me know. Hi Temiloluwa, hi Blessing. Glad to have you guys here. Thank you for joining. If you can hear me, please let me know before I go ahead. Okay, awesome. So there was something that sort of became a conversation on Twitter like a couple of days ago, and I want to know what you guys think about it. Thank you so much, Demilolua. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So somebody, a man, posted, he did a thread about work culture and all of that. And then he mentioned that in the Advent, where all of us have, I mean, most people have um, their what do you call their meetings, their work meetings online. And then when you're in a meeting or when you've been in a meeting with your superiors, he said you should, I mean, courtesy demands that you wait for them to leave the call before you leave the call. Like, you know, if it's a Zoom meeting or it's a Google Meet meeting, it says you wait for them to exit the call instead of leaving before them, that it may be considered rude to leave before them. And then, you know, people, I mean, people just rained on you. Like, what kind of mentality is this? So, I really want to hear what you guys think in the comment box. I want to know, you guys, do you think that he was right or do you think that he was wrong? I'm going to share what I think about it shortly, but I want to know what you guys think, whether it was right or it was wrong. So, did you hear my question? Do you understand my question? Do you guys understand my question? So I'm waiting. Ayomide says, I think he was right. It's just courtesy. Okay, I'm waiting for other people to share their opinions. Do you think he was? Do you think it was a stretch? I mean, why do I have to wait for a superior to leave? I mean, why do I have to wait for a superior to leave a what's it called, a Google a Zoom call? I mean, who does that? So I want to know what you guys think. So okay, Damla Salami says, I feel it's more of culture. Okay, okay. I want to hear more. Do you think it was out of place? Do you think it was right? A couple of people have said, oh, I think it's courtesy. I think it's culture. MD says different strokes for different folks. I mean, in the age of, I mean, a lot of people mentioned that, okay, that Yoruba people like respect. So they literally always carry themselves to the workplace, and then, you know, their need for respect and everything. Temitope says he was right. It's not a physical meeting. So every action would be weighed, no matter how little. If it was a physical meeting, one would let the superiors leave before exiting the hall. Thank you. Thank you. Samuel Tosin says, for meetings as such, I feel it's a little extreme. What if network logs you out? Oh, that's I never actually thought about that angle. Yeah, educate. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so I think we are. I mean, a number of people have shared my opinions about it, and when you are starting or growing your career, one of the things that you need to consider is the culture of the workplace that you're going to be working. And that's what we're going to be starting for our lesson tonight. it's the culture. Culture is super important. So some people do not. I remember we talked about this in one of our last models where we talked about the idea of calling people by their names in the workplace, and or calling people by massa and all of that. And I explained that in some workplaces, your superiors, I mean, could tell you, no, don't call me Mrs. Anything, don't call me Mr. Anything, just call me by my name, just call me Funke. But in some workplaces, if you try that, you just know that your promotion is at stake, right? Just know your promotion is there's problem somewhere. So there's a need to consider the culture. If you work in a traditional Nigerian culture, for instance, or a workplace that has a traditional work, oh my God, and then they take things like that so seriously. I mean, these are people who feel like, ah, in real life or in physical meetings, you wouldn't leave before your superior. There's a high chance you have to like stand up, and then you have to wait for them, or you even have to offer to carry their bags or carry their laptops and all of that. I mean, if you work in a traditional sector like that, where you know that your chances of effecting that kind of change that you expect to see are really slim. I mean, if you work in that kind of culture, I mean, it's so important for you to be conversant. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It's so important for you to be conversant with that kind of culture. Right, don't just go and say that, in this 21st century, why are you doing this? But sometimes you find out that in some organizations, they really don't care. Like for me, I've up until I saw that thread, I never imagined that that could even be a problem or a challenge. That never crossed my mind ever. So it was just shocking. Like, why should anybody leaving a call before their superiors be a problem? But well, if you work in a traditional organization, please, understand it. So now, good evening, everybody. I am so glad to see every single person here. I am really glad to be back. Thank you for the tons of messages and calls and emails. I am so glad. Thank you very, very much. So now we're starting with YPAP Module 6, Styling, Outlook, and Speech. Please, how many of you guys are excited about this topic? I feel like perhaps this is the topic I'm most excited about. I don't know why, but styling, outlook, and speech. And one of the, if you've looked at our sessions so far, you find out, hi everyone, welcome. Hi Aisha, hi Olaniyi, hi Abe Adralere, hi Esther. All right, so if you check our sessions so far, one of the things you find out is that we've been talking about things that you know they don't usually touch on when you attend career seminars and webinars and all of that, right? And yes, I've mentioned this a lot of times. All these job search organizations, they are doing their best. They are doing their best, but there's some things that they just don't touch about, like we want to talk about styling, we want to talk about speech, we want to talk about outlook, especially in the workplace. We want to talk about these things because these things are super important. Please like this video. Like, I can see some people are already liking the video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So keep liking this video. And styling, outlook, and speech is one of the most important parts of building your career. Maybe not like the most important, of course, because you have the point of building yourself, personally developing yourself, personally grooming yourself, and all of that. You have that. You of course, that's a key. That's a key problem, right? But there's also the point where you want to consider how you look. I mean, how you speak, how you behave, because whether you like it or not, these things silently, I'll use the word silently, these things silently tell on who you are, and most importantly, on how people perceive you. And in the workplace, perception is such a big deal. Like, it's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal everywhere. Of course, it's a big deal with respect to businesses. There are certain people you will not do business with because because of the way you perceive them. There's certain people you won't buy stuff from because they don't feel like they would sell original to you. There are certain people you won't buy stuff from because they don't feel like they can. Sometimes you want to pay somebody a large amount of money, and the person doesn't look like they can handle that kind of money. It's perception, right? So it doesn't change in the workplace. Are we together? It doesn't change in the workplace. So people, from the first day you start at a new workplace, people are constantly, regularly developing different perceptions about you. They are forming opinions about you consciously and unconsciously, right? And a lot of times people may not be able to get so close to you that they get to know how you think or what you do and all of that. But from afar, they just develop opinions about you. And of course, it's one of the dangers of humans as a whole, right? It's one of the dangers, but it's one of the things that we must focus on. So I want to be sure you guys are following me. Please, are you following me? Please drop a comment if you're following me. Please, I want to be sure that I'm not lost. Please drop a comment. Hmm. Okay. Okay, awesome. You guys can hear me. I can see that you guys can hear me. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So, like I was saying, like it's one of these. I mean, these brief things are one of the ways that people develop perceptions about you, and perceptions can go a long way in the workplace, especially when they're coming from people who have a deciding power over your career growth, right? There are people who have deciding power. Some people you don't know them, right? But they have a deciding power. You may not know them. In the workplace, your your line manager, I mean, for people who work in structured areas where you don't report directly to your CEO, your line manager may not be the only person who has a deciding power over your life, or your career life. I mean, I don't want to say over your life because of course only God has that power, right? Sometimes it's not only your line manager, right? In some cases, before they give you a promotion, they have to get quality opinions, or objective, yeah, that's the word. They have to get objective opinions from other people, right? So they would have to call people that you're reporting to and then ask them, okay, what do you think about this person? And they often do not just look at the quality of your work. A lot of times, I mean, if you want to work in a structured organization, one thing to know is that they don't look at just, oh, she's getting her job done, right? They would look at other things as well. They'll look like, okay, so how does she fit into the culture? How does she interact with other people? But you may not even know that they're looking at all of these things, because you're just going to work and then you're just keen on getting your job done. So that's like one of the ways where people develop opinions that might affect you, can make or marry you in an organization, or in the career space generally, right? Some people have a decision, they have I like to say, a deciding power. So they can be your line managers, they can be your supervisors, they can be your senior colleagues. Like, they can just call a senior colleague and then just ask the person, what do you think about this person? And the person is going to give what they think about you. They're going to give an opinion of themselves, how they perceive you to the person. And it doesn't mean, please, I hope you guys are following. So it doesn't mean that, these opinions that these people have are law. It doesn't mean they're law. But imagine a situation where, somebody perceives you in a certain kind of way, and then they call the person and ask the person about you. And then it's not supposed to be a hard and fast rule or anything. They're just talking. And then the person says, oh, I think for me it's like this. I think for me it's like that. I think, and then they called somebody else who gives similar review about your work in the organization. This is so important for people who are just entering. I mean, when you've risen the ladders, it's a lot easier. But when you're just starting, like they're just perceiving you rightly or wrongly. So imagine a situation where they've called the first person, and the first person says tells explains how they perceive you, and they call the other person, and the other person perceives how they, explains how they perceive you. It now become it's moving beyond personal opinions now to what different people see about you or think about you. So if one person says that you are rude, for instance, and another person comes and says that you are rude, you know that is no longer there. It's no longer haters. Likely no longer haters in the office. I mean, imagine that two or three, four people are already saying same thing or similar things about you. It's no longer haters. It's yourself. So this is simply one of the ways or one of the reasons these topics are super important, because whether people know it or they do not, whether you know it or you do not, people are developing perceptions about you, and you are also developing impressions about people. There are some people that the way they dress, you develop an impression about them. You may never have spoken about it to other people before, you may never have talked about it, you may never have thought about it, but you are developing impressions about people, right? And it's the way you are developing impressions about people is the same way other people are developing impressions about you as well. So now let's move on to styling, outlook, and speech, and then they are very, very similar. So I may be talking a lot about them together. So now let's talk about styling and outlook. When it comes to styling, like workplace styling, the kinds of things you wear and how you look generally, the first thing you want to consider is the workplace culture, right? It's super, super, super important. The workplace culture. There are different kinds of workplaces, and every culture in every workplace tells on the kind of outfits that they wear or that they are allowed to wear. Sometimes they have hard and fast rules. They have rules that, okay, so for instance, where I worked last, there were rules because it was a corporate place. So there were rules like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. These are the kinds of things you can wear. These are the kinds of things you cannot wear. These are the kinds of colors. I mean, even down to colors. These are the kinds of colors you can wear. These are the kinds of jewelry you cannot wear. So they were laid down rules about that, and then they had rules up to Fridays. Okay, on Fridays, these are the kinds of things that you can wear. So in some organizations they have laid down rules like that, and then you want to make sure that you understand, okay, so what are the kinds of outfits that they are allowed to wear on a day-to-day basis. Are we together? On a day-to-day basis in this kind of place, right? So when you're getting into the workplace, it's no longer like, oh, this is just what I feel like doing, this is just what I like doing, this is just what this is just how I am, right? There's no, well, I'm not going to say there is no space, but I mean, in many organizations, especially if you work in Nigeria, in many traditional, conventional organizations, it's beyond what you like, right? It's beyond what you feel like doing. It's way deeper than that. Please, guys, keep liking the video. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that, I mean, others who log on can easily see and then they can join. All right. Okay. So yeah. So it's these things are important. So what exactly is the company culture? There are some cultures. So there are some companies where their culture is very, very laid back. I mean, especially in I agro poet. Thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you so much. So there are some companies where, like, some really cool new companies, like, I don't want to mention names, but they're really cool. So if you like, wear t-shirt and just to work. They don't care as long as you get your job done, right? If you like, wear short skirt, wear mini skirt, wear all of these things. They really don't care. Just get the job done. I've worked in places like that before as well. Nobody really cares. Like, nobody is saying wear corporate, wear formal, and all of that. As long as you get your job done. In fact, in a place like that, if you wear corporate too much, they would label you. Or if you wear corporate in one day, okay, let me tell you guys a joke. Let me tell you guys a joke. So I worked in a place that was absolutely formal, like, sorry, not informal. It was absolutely casual. Like, you can wear anything. Nobody will look at you. Like, it was so informal. The day you see anybody wear formal, like formal outfits, shirts, uh, you know tucked in ties and all of, suits and all of that. The day you see somebody come to work like that, it is either it's one of two things. It is either they are going for an interview or they are coming to an interview, because they will look like they will look like they're out of place. Like you be like, what's going on? Why are you wearing formal today? Why are you wearing corporate? You just know, you have gone for an interview. I mean, that's the only reason you can be corporate. I mean, I just remembered that. So you have like you have cases like that. That's how formal it was. But in some places, if you wear corporate, if I won't even allow you to enter the office because they know that there's a problem. So, welcome everyone. I mean, those of you just joining, welcome. You've missed a part of the class, but I'm very sure you guys are going to catch up. All right. So, like I was saying, so it's important to understand the culture of the organization, right? The culture of the organization. What kind of outfits do they wear? Um, and there's sometimes where the dress culture or the style culture of the organization are unwritten. Like there's or if the person is a newbie, exactly, you'd have known that this person is just working, just started working in our office. That's why it's dressed corporate like this. Okay, I remember the first place I worked. Like the first 2 days, I was fresh out of school, and then I was wearing corporate, right? The place was a casual place as well because it was a casual outfit. So, and then I was dressing all corporate, like, excited about my first job. And then I think it was like the second day and the third day. And then my boss just called me and said, Funke, why? Like, because it couldn't speak Yoruba that much. So it says, Funke, come, why are you wearing corporates like this? Why? Look at the rest of us. Have we been wearing corporate? So yeah, so really there's certain style cultures that are unwritten, right? There's no handbook, and these ones are even the most dangerous because people can just say that you're unserious or you're unfit for the culture simply because you are unable to observe how people dress or how people talk. You Oh my god. This is actually a very interesting topic for me. Like it's a super interesting topic for me. So you need to be able to observe. That's just it. When you get a job, you enter into a company. It's not like first 2 days you are calm. The next 4 days everybody's you're just doing anyhow. No, it's not like that. When you start a new job, you want to observe, right? You want to observe. So how do they dress? What kind of clothes do they wear? Are there written rules? Do they have a sort of handbook that's, this is what this is kind of outfits that they wear here and all of that? So are there written rules or are there unwritten rules? Because I remember that please, oh god, it's important to ask whether there are unwritten rules or written rules, right? Always ask your colleagues, ask your HRs, because sometimes there are written rules that even your colleagues don't know about. Please, like it's so important. So there are unwritten rules. Like when you talk about unwritten rules, there are no rules at all, right? But they're just unspoken. There's a certain way that you can walk, or you should dress and all of that, but it's unwritten, right? It's just more like people just perceive. That's how they behave there. That's how they dress and all of that. Sometimes there are written rules, but you don't know because possibly the HR did not give you handbook when you were resuming, or you did not do orientation for you, and then the next thing you are saying, they are giving you a query. They're giving you a query. Why? Because you have flaunted a rule that is written. And you're like, but they didn't tell me. And then you know that ignorance is never an excuse, right? You would bear the consequences, whether you are paying or and based on the uh, organization. So you want to pay attention to whether there are rules, whether the rules are written that everybody knows, or the rules are written but not many people know, not many people care, they are just doing anyhow, or the rules are unwritten but there are rules nonetheless. Please, are we together? Do we? perfectly understand what I'm trying to say. Right. So yes, please pay attention to the culture. What kind of culture, what kind of organizations, what kind of organization it is. There are certain kinds of organizations where if you wear agbada to the office, eh, they will look at you like, what's going on? Did you come to work? Or did you branch here from your wedding? If you wear proper, if you wear, you wear native, you wear lace. There are some organizations where if you wear lace, you don't need to anybody to tell you that day. If you won't even be able to work because you're just out of place, right? And these outfits, are they good or not? They are absolutely good, but for the culture, they may not be well suited. Yeah, thank you very much for your responses. Thank you very much. At least I know you're following. Thank you so much. But for the culture, they may not be well suited. Don't go and wear agbada and wear irambuba and say that you are trying to you are trying to preach your culture. Please don't do that. Don't do it. Right? Some places, honestly, if you do that, it's absolutely fine. But what I'm just trying to say is pay attention to the culture. Pay attention to the culture. It is super important. Right? And then under culture as well, you also want to look at colors. There are certain organizations where they work with cool colors, especially where you work with let's say banks, for instance, or financial institutions. They have a dress code, right? They have a sort of dress code, and then sometimes they don't wear loud colors. So you cannot say that my best color is lemon green, and you cannot say my best color is lemon green. No, today lemon green, tomorrow what kind of you just wear any kind of color. Like you just get there and then they'll look at you like, is everything okay? Is everything all right? Like so it's not just the kind of clothes that you wear or the kind of outfits that you wear down to your shoes, right? It's not just that, it's also in colors. You have to observe colors. Some organizations, right, they are so conservative, right? They're so conservative. They use only very cool colors. It's like morning colors. Think about an organization like GT Bank, for instance. These guys, their color is their color is orange. You think that okay, maybe they should be allowed to wear orange, but then you go there a lot of times and you see them, they're wearing cool navy blue. And I remember the last time I went to the park, I was like, why are they spoiling these people's star? Why are they spoiling these people's star? Why will I see what's it called? Why will I see yellow on your logo? And then I'm coming back and I'm seeing dull blue. Why? Right? But whatever their reasons are, a lot of organizations, especially conservative organizations, they take colors very seriously. Kemi says in health sciences and the medical setting, you're not to wear bright and shouty colors. Thank you so much for that illustration. I mean, I never even knew that, as it could trigger some epileptic patients. Wow, so colors can trigger epileptic patients. This is a first. Thank you very much. That's something new to learn. Thank you very much. So even down to colors, right? So down to down to accessories. Some people, if you wear big kind of earrings, like flashy kind of earrings, they will look at you like maybe you went to one Owambe over the weekend and you forgot yourself there or you forgot your senses there. There are organizations like that. There are organizations that don't care. And I know that there's a difference between what you think should be the norm and what is the norm. And for a lot of you, for a lot of us, right, you would have to deal with what is the norm first before you transcend or transition, if that transition ever comes, before you transition into a system where what should be is what is, right? So you can say that yeah, I want a workplace where I can wear alternate to work. But for a lot of people, especially those who are in Nigeria, you find yourself in workplaces where things like this, what you feel should be, is not what is. So you have to adjust. You have to adjust, spending the time you can transition. And for some people, you never transition. You just find that you're just in conservative areas, and then you would have to leave your um, fashion fantasies over till the weekends, right? So I hope we are following so far. So we've been able to talk about company culture, and now the next thing I want to talk about is let's talk about your personal style, right? Your personal style, and this is in the case where there are no written rules. Like you can dress, not like you can dress anyhow, right? Not like you can dress anyhow, but you can, I mean, there are no rules that say okay, you have to dress corporate, you have to wear blue on Mondays, you have to wear green on Tuesdays, you have to wear blazers, you have to wear suits, you have to wear heels. Like, yeah, I mean, there's some certain places where you have to wear heels. Like if, I gave this instance um on my status like some months back, and I explained how somebody came to one organization I was working, and the person came in, and the person had an interview. This is like it's a pathetic thing. Like it's so pathetic. And this person came in. I think she wore heels when she was coming in, and while she was waiting for a session, for a time to be called in, while she was waiting for a time to be called in, she pulled off her heels. Are you guys following me? And then she wore rubber slippers. She wore rubber slippers. Like I think she had already looked at the line, and she had seen that, see, like the before they get to me, yeah, it's going to be long. It's going to be long. So let me just wait. Like before they get to, maybe they started counting, like I still have like 10 people before me. And then these heels, like I don't wear heels, like can you go what heels here? So she already put up the heels, and then she wore a rubber slippers. And she those of us who put rubber slippers inside your bag. She watched rubber slippers, and then my MD just saw her from the CCTV and just called one of the guys who was doing interview and said, call me so and so person. I said, that girl, what where does she think she is? I remember that question. I said, where does she think she is? I mean, does she think we do anyhow, yeah? And I kid you not, that was how they sent the girl home. She didn't do that interview. Like whether that was fair or not is not a discussion I want to have, right? But she did not do that interview. They just said, you know what? They say you cannot do interview again. Like you're not a proper fit for the organization, and that was it. That was it. So please, like I just feel like if she had done a sort of research about the kind of organization she was coming to, she would have seen that in this kind of organization they wear heels. In fact, you're not even allowed to wear flat shoes that much, but that's even permissible. But they wear heels, and I am now coming to wear, like, in fact, even beyond company culture, like beyond company culture, self, like there's a level of audacity you need to have to pull off your heels, awaiting an interview, and wear rubber slippers. Don't you think? Not sandals, not flat shoes, rubber. There's a level of like I don't know what to call it apart from audacity, because that's audacity. It's audacious. Please don't have that kind of audacity. Please, if you have that kind of audacity, I rebuke it for you right now. So I mean that's like it was really crazy, and she wasn't even in a she hadn't even gotten into the system. She was just awaiting an interview. So you can see that preparing for your career is beyond just how you act in the workplace. It's how you act outside the workplace before you get in there. It's in those little things when your employers are sort of assessing you. They're not just assessing the experiences that you have. You can have the right kind of experiences. Welcome, Faye Shire, for me. You can have the right kind of experiences, but they just feel like you're not a culture fit, and nobody wants to employ somebody who is not a culture fit. These are things they consider. Can you fit well into our culture? I mean, can you fit into the culture? Because they are not just looking at, oh, can they do the job? They're also looking at somebody that can imagine working somewhere, and then they can say, oh, she works with our organization, or she used to work with our organization, and it gives them prestige. If you are amazing if you're an amazing fit. So please, these are things you want to focus on even before you. It's not just in the workplace. Like it's not just you just do anyhow. You're going for an interview, just dress anyhow. Like let them, you're just like, well, let me just dress anyhow. Let me just wear what I have. Like let them collect me first. Let them collect me first. When we collect, we understand company culture. Let them just collect me, no? Ah, no? Basically, right? So it starts from even before you get a particular kind of job. Yes, I felt so bad for her. I felt really bad for like okay. So now we're talking about your personal style. We in a system, for instance, where there are no written rules, where people just you're allowed to dress however you want. So they are personal styles, and then they're just guidelines basically. And the first guidelines, the first guideline rather, right? The first guideline when it comes to defining your personal style. Yeah, I know that is weird. Is that what are your personal aspirations, right? What are your personal aspirations? So whether you like it or not, your how many of us can relate to the fact that there are certain kinds of outfits that you wear that when you wear them, you feel like you're on top of the world. Like you feel nothing can happen to me. You just be feeling fly, like right. You just be exuding confidence. How many of us can relate? How many of us can relate with that? So when I was entering into the university, I easily found out that one of the things that helped me to boost my confidence was wearing corporate dresses and corporate shoes. Right. So I used to wear corporate dresses and shoes a lot when I just got into the university. Like, and why did I used to wear them? Because I just felt, I loved how they made me feel, and I loved how I wanted it to make me feel. But you just always feel like, oh, Rebecca just likes to be wearing corporate dress. She just likes to be wearing corporate dress. But no, it wasn't just that. For me, it was the fact that I wanted to I wanted to exude confidence physically. I wanted to exude confidence in my mind, like mentally. I wanted that to work for me mentally. And then I just knew that whenever I wear corporate dresses, I feel more confident than days where I wear casual dresses, right? I feel more confident than days where I wear slippers. So I would wear, shoes. And what I noticed was that over time, it's it had a way. There was a way it told on how I thought. It told on how I walked because there's a but there's a difference between how I walk when I'm putting on flat shoes and how I walk when I'm putting on slippers. Like there's a difference. When I'm putting on flat shoes or heels, there's a sort of gait that I have. Like there's a way I walk. I walk faster, I walk more confidently. But when I am wearing slippers or rubber slippers or whatever kind of slippers, even my mind knows that I'm in a very relaxed mode. The way I will walk, self, like you get. So I needed that mindset shaping. So I had to start to wear outfits that could help me shape my mindset so that at least even when I wasn't, wearing that kind of outfit or those kind of confidence boosting outfits, they they it was just already in my mind. It was already in my mindset. So it helped me. So a lot of times, right, whenever I'm even sort of coaching people who feel like they have low self-esteem issues, one thing I usually ask them is what kind of clothes do you have? Because the kind of clothes you have are so underrated. Some people they say they don't have confidence, but the truth is just go and look for it's the kind of clothes and shoes you have that are the problem. Once you are able to just change it's just going to it will just change. Like I don't even know how to. It's psychological, Sha. It's psychological. So you wonder what are your personal aspirations, right? What do you want to be portrayed as, right? So personal branding is not, we talk about personal branding a lot, and it's always like personal branding is more like showing up online, posting online, content online, and all of that. That's amazing. But personal branding extends beyond online. Personal branding also goes offline, right? Because the people, I'm working with you now, right? I'm working with you. I'm seeing you every day. There has to be a certain kind of impression that you will have of me to feel like, okay, I like working with this person. I think she's worth promoting or whatever it is. So your personal branding is beyond, what you post online. Some people are not online at all, but offline they have amazing personal brands. You know that, right? You know, there's some people that don't. If you check their Instagram, you will see a post there from like 20 years. Okay, no, Instagram was not available 20 years ago. But you will see a post, and they mean like their pages might even be private. They are not active online, but offline, they are doing the work. They have good personal brands, like they have the good character, they have integrity, they get the job done offline. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's important to, yes, so to look at things like, okay, so what do I want to be portrayed as? What do I want people to, to see me as? What do I want to come to people's minds when they look at me, or when they come in touch with me, right? And then it's going to give you an instance on the kind of outfits you want to pay attention to, or that you want to invest in when it comes to putting your personal style, or curating your personal style to fit yourself, and to help you, make it easier for you to achieve your career goals, and also make you have a good impression on other people. And then another question you also want to ask when curating your personal style, please, are we following? I hope it makes sense. I want to be sure that it is interesting and relatable. I'm not going off point. Oh, I'm not going off point. I want to be sure. Okay. 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 Awesome. Awesome. All right. So now another thing you also want to ask is, are there models? Now when I'm talking about models, I'm not talking about models that take pictures or no, but are there models in the industry, or in your company rather, or in the industry that you follow or that you admire? So for instance, if you're just entering into a system, one of the people you should pay attention to are those who have decision making power, right? Those people who are at the top, let's say supervisors, managers, your CEO. So one of these you want to pay attention, one of the people you should want to pay attention to are those kinds of people. So you want to ask, how do they dress? Because but you want to observe them, you want to see them as models. So how exactly do they dress? What kind of shoes do they wear? You may not be able to afford it when you're just starting. You may not be able to afford it, but at least it just helps to see, okay, so these are the kinds of outfits that they wear. This is how they walk. This is how they talk. I mean, these are the kinds of I'm not saying I should do copy, oh, right? But it could, having models, right? Having models in a particular institution or organization could give you a pointer to what could be acceptable, and could also help you curate your own personal style, right? So now, right, okay, so now another thing you also need to look at, another guideline, is that whatever it is that you want to wear, mm, should not be uncomfortable for other people. You need to be empathetic. You need to think about other people, right? Especially when you're in an organization or a company where you can wear anything you like. So you need to be empathetic. You need to think about other people, because nobody can stop you. You can wear you can wear mini skirts, you can wear armless and all of that, but it could be distracting to other people. You can even decide that you want to wear, you want to open your chest down, like, and show us your six packs, because nobody will hold you. But I mean, it's just ethical. It's not compulsory, but it's just ethical to think about the people that you'll be working with, because some people are, easily distracted. So once they just see, and it just distracts them, and then you really cannot say that she lacks focus, or stuff like that. Do we understand what I am saying? So you want to consider outfits that, you know, act, they make you confident, they make you they fit your personal aspirations, but they should not make other people feel uncomfortable, right? Because you will also find out that in a in a system like the, please, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so in a system where there are unwritten rules, right, where you can dress anyhow, or I don't want to say talk anyhow, you find out that because there are no written rules, people may feel like, oh, she doesn't consider me, or she doesn't consider other people when she's dressing or when she's talking, and all of that. She doesn't consider things like that. And they may not be able to meet you because there are no rules, right? And you know, when there's no law, there's no sin. So they cannot reach you. But you just find out that people just gradually don't like you simply because you come across as somebody who just doesn't care. In one of the places I worked, I have stories on this topic. I have stories. So in one of the places that I worked, there was this girl. Oh my god! I'm so glad I remember this story. There was this. Okay, I don't want to say girl. Like, I mean a lady, right? There was this lady that always wore heels. She always wore cocoa shoes, like always. Like, oh, good day cocoa shoe, bad day cocoa shoe, rain fair cocoa shoe, sun, every single day. And honestly, I have no problem with that, because I mean, it was something that she loved to wear. It was I remember it used to help her become confident and all of that. But every single time, and we had a large, where we used to work in an open space, so you had different teams working in that open space. Everybody had their sections, but you just find out that, and whenever she was walking whenever she was walking by, people used to be angry. I'm not kidding you. Like, people used to be angry. You just see her walking, go, and people will be like this. Like, people will literally have to stop walking for her to pass by, because they could not walk. As it was like, there's if you could walk while she was walking, or while she was passing by, you should have a degree in concentration. You should have a degree, because nobody will be able to concentrate you, because the next thing you're hearing is go. And sometimes maybe she wants to go and pick something from somebody on at the other end of the office. So she goes and then she gets there, and then you're like, oh, okay, so she has already finished working, and then you continue working, and then the next thing she's coming back, and you're hearing and she's working again. Now, just imagine, like, it just got to a point where when people saw, people just did not like her. Not because she had talked to them in a certain kind of way or whatever, but because the idea of her passing alone was a problem, right? It was a problem. There was somebody else too that whenever he passes like this, people will be like this. Because if the perfume smell was too strong, you will be like, ha, Oluwa, take all the control. Because, and you know, in that kind of situation, you can't reach people, because nobody is saying that in this office, oh, we don't wear cocoa shoe. In this office, we don't use perfume that is blocking people's destiny. You know, there are no written rules. You can do anyhow. But whenever the person was passing, like, you just see that people have a problem. Like, it's just like, or the people that they will pass by, and then their perfume, their cologne, it makes you cough, and you're coughing, and oh, please tell me, how you like that kind of person? You will not like them. You will not like them. Because the impression they have on you is always like, no, you don't care about other people in the office. So yes, there's a point of, curating your personal style, wearing the kind of things that you like, but you also want to, be sure that you're not intruding, especially in cases where there are, I mean, there are unwritten rules where you can do anyhow. Yeah, you can do anyhow. There are some people that you can wear armless. You know, you just wear armless, and then you're just passing by, and people are just looking at you like, okay. And then, so I think these are things you want to consider. Like, I'm so glad I remember this. I mean, I didn't even remember them before now, but I'm so glad I remember these instances. So you want to consider other people. You want to be empathetic, right? You want to put other people into consideration, not be. All right. So yes. So reasonable standards of style. Like, that's what I call it. Reasonable standards of style. So whatever it is that you're wearing, it should, be what you want to wear. It should be what you're comfortable with. It should be what you like, but it shouldn't be intruding such that it affects other people's work. Right? Okay, so let's move on to styling and outlook, and then I'm just going to talk about fashion in general, and then I'm going to divide into yes, I'm going to divide into clothes, your shoes, your accessories, your hair, and your face. Clothes, shoes, accessories, hair, and face. I'm so happy to be taking this topic because I've been looking for an opportunity to actually teach on this topic like for a long time. So I'm really happy. So, clothes, shoes, accessories, hair, and face. So now let's talk about clothes. Right. So when you're talking about clothes, of course you're talking about company culture. Like that's regular. What kind of clothes are acceptable? And then you want to talk about your body size, right? So yes, let me say body size. You want to think about your body size. That's under clothing now. You want to think about your body size. So as a person, look, okay, as a person personally, I feel like it is my duty to focus on my strengths in terms of my body size and minimize my weaknesses. So some of you will leave this class going to do further training. You will leave this class, further research on the. Esther says that journal is full already on the kind of clothes that will fit you. So there's some kinds of clothes that they will not fit me. If I should wear them, they're not going to flatter me, and it's not even in terms of shape or anything like that. So I want to find out what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, right? Because the way you have strengths and weaknesses in terms of experiences and all of that, you also have strengths and weaknesses in terms of your body size, right? Or your, should I say, your stature, your outlook, how you look, basically. So for instance, if you're a kind of person who is very slim, right, you're on the slim side, you may want to do away from wearing outfits that are very, very should I say sticky? I don't want to use that are sticky, like outfits that are fitted. Yes, that's the word. You may want to stay away from using outfits that are fitted because they may bring out the parts of you that you may not necessarily like or be particular about. So imagine that you're very, very slim, and then you're wearing, we can just see, like, you just see that everything is just um hello guys, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I just got a notification that my, can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome, thank you very much. Right, so you want to look at the kind of physique that you have. For some people, you are quite on the big side, right? And honestly, this doesn't mean you should not wear what you want to wear. Like, if you're the kind of person that feels like, I want to wear whatever it is I want to wear, honestly, nobody is going to stop you, right? Nobody's going to hold you. Nobody's going to, like, you can feel free to wear whatever it is you want to wear. But I'm talking about, sometimes you want to look at your physique so that you can get outfits that make you look like the best that you can be. Right. So for instance, if you have like big tummy, right? Like really big tummy. Like there's nothing bad with big tummy because right, it might mean that it might be a signal that you're eating well, right? But you and then you feel like you don't like people looking at your tummy or making references to your tummy. Now that's the kind of person you are. You don't like people focusing on things like that. But you go ahead to wear a body hug. Right? Please, how will that happen? Or how will that not happen? Are you guys following me? So these are things you also want to, you want to focus on. You want to focus on your physique. Some people have upper body statures. I'm sorry, the upper frames of their bodies are bigger than the lower frames of their bodies. Right? Some people, the lower frames of their bodies are wider than the upper frames of their bodies. So you want to be able to, do a sort of. I don't want to also start going to a like in-depth fashion class right now, but you want to just pay attention to the kinds of outfits that you wear. Whatever outfit it is that you wear, you want it to make you look your best. So that's one thing you want to consider: the outfit that you have, the kind of physique that you have. Are you slim? Are you big? Are you a size 8? Some people don't know their sizes. You don't know if you're a size 8 or a size 10 or a size 6. They ask you what size do you wear. You just like, what size sit? I'll know my size. Please change your ways. Change your ways. Right. So that's one of the things that you want to focus on as well. And it's the same thing with guys too. Like I've seen, it's not just women, it's for guys too. There are some guys that you wear body hug, but you know that okay. But Shasha, or okay. Please let's just I don't want to mention some things because please. But right, it goes both ways. It's not just for women, right? It's also for men. I mean, people often think that okay, it's only women that should, even men should focus on their body physique to be able to select the kinds of clothes that they wear, right? Kinds of shirts that you wear, t-shirts you wear. If you're wearing jeans, the kind of jeans you wear. There are some people that if you wear skinny jeans, it's not like okay. Let's not talk about it. Thank you very much. Let's not talk about it. So yes, another thing you want to focus on is your complexion. It's your complexion, right? So your complexion could tell the kind of colors that you wear. Yes, they could tell the kind of colors that you wear. So there are some people that, for instance, if you are really light in complexion, if you're really, yes, light, let me use the word light, like you're really fair in complexion, fair in say you're like, please, who can I use as an example? But you're really fair in complexion. Now imagine being really fair in complexion and wearing a bright yellow dress or a bright yellow outfit. It may not, like, the contrast may be bad. I'm saying may because of course it can be exceptions, but the contrast may be bad. Like those of you who have taken the Canva growth program, like the academy organizes a Canva course. It's a graphics design course, and then you learn how to design with Canva, social media flyers, ebooks, and all of that. You learn how to design in 4 weeks. So now, those of you who have gone through the Canva growth program before, you understand contrast. You know the idea of an element and having an opposite color in terms of brightness and all of that. You know that, right? Now imagine that somebody like that who is really fair in complexion or light in complexion wears an outfit that is really light in complexion as well. It will not bring out your glory. It's not bring out your glory. Imagine somebody who is dark as well, like you are really dark, and then you're not wearing very dark colors. Like you always wear very dark colors. You be like, oh, those especially those people that usually say that I'm a minimalist. I'm a minimalist. It's okay, but you are dark, right? And then you're wearing dark colors. You're wearing dull dark colors. You're wearing. I don't want to mention names of colors, but you're wearing dull dark colors like dark. If I let me even mention them, like brown, dark brown clothes, like very dark colors. How will your glory shine? It will not. Right? You just say that, yeah. Oh God. I don't want to talk. Right? Please, it's so important. Like all this, the colors, especially like, and this is where your complexion comes in. So there are some colors, and then there are also some people like you can be dark, for instance, dark like me, right? And then you see me outside, I'm wearing a bright orange cloth, right? Yes, it's a contrast, but you find out that that contrast is too contrast, because now I am very dark and I'm wearing something that is very bright. Suddenly you see me like it's like, what's going on? You want to blind us in the office? What's going on? Right? So I also need to look at my complexion. It's something that I've trained myself to do. Like, it's something you can do. Um you can ask your friends, people that are around you. So now there's a shade of orange I can wear, there's a shade of red I can wear, right? There's a shade of yellow I can wear. There are some shades that I cannot wear, because of course colors come in different kinds of shades. Right? So please, like, you want to look at your complexion, right? Your complexion should determine the kind of colors, right? If you're a dark person and everything in your wardrobe is just dark, 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 almost dark, 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 and you're a light skin, and then everything just light, bright, 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 bright. Please, there might be problem. So really, these are some of the things that you want to focus on. So when you want to do your shopping, right, you don't just, you don't just close your eyes and just buy anything, right? Or those of you who shop online, right, you don't just close your eyes and then you just see an outfit on somebody, it looks really fine, right? And you're like, this outfit looks really fine on the person. You've not considered your body shape, you've not considered your complexion. You just say that, I'm going to take it. I need to buy it. And then you order it, and then it comes in, and then it's now looking like what I ordered versus what I got. Okay. Right. So another thing, when it comes to outfits like clothes, now you also need to learn how to cross style. If you are just starting and then you're coming from a humble background, like, it's not like you have money anywhere, it's not like you have anybody who gives you money or whatever, and then you're just, it's humble beginnings, you will need to learn how to cross style. There are people who have clothes, they have good clothes, but okay, but there are people who don't have clothes, a lot of clothes, but when you every time that you see them, they look like they have clothes. You're like, you have a lot of clothes. Why do you show lie? Don't tell you the grace of God. But it's because they know how to cross style. They know how to style different outfits. And I feel like sometimes people say stuff like, I'm not a fashion inclined person. I'm not, like, I don't like fashion and all of that. But it can be learned. I used to be like that. Whenever I hear fashion, I'll be like, what's my business? Let me just wear clothes. Let me just go out. Like, so it can be, if God could change me, it can change your story. Yes. Right, so it can be learned. Right, so you see people who wear different kinds of clothes. They can have one kind of gown, one simple gown, and then they can style it in different ways. They can decide, okay, so I have this gown, I'm going to wear this kind of jacket, or I'm going to wear this kind of belt, or I'm going to wear this kind of scarf on it. Different kinds of um cross styling. Yes, and cross styling often has to do with other fashion items, like maybe you have skirts, the kind of skirts you wear, and then the top that you kind of wear. Yeah, so thank God for my life, right? And the kinds of other accessories that you wear. So you can also follow people, like they say, follow who no road. Follow people online. Even if you don't want to follow them, you can just turn on post notifications. Follow them. So, especially those fashion, you have fashion bloggers who show you different ways to style. And over time, you just have, there's just a way you understand better how to cross style your outfits, right? You can also have, like I mentioned earlier, a model in your office. A model does not mean somebody who is into model. In this case, not somebody who is a model, but somebody who is into modeling. No, it might just be somebody who you just admire their sense of style. You can see that this person um wears this person can be that they always wear black jeans every week, but you will never know unless you pay attention because they wear different, maybe different shoes, different t-shirts, different shirts, right? I mean, see, you get it, right? So these are things that you want to pay attention to. I hope this is very, very clear. So now let's move on to shoes, the kind of shoes that you wear. The kind of shoes that you wear. Of course, you should have like basic colors. I always advise have basic colors. For good days, have black. Right, have black. You can have wine. And I'm going to come back to shopping. I'm going to come back to shopping for clothes later on. And then, you can have black, or at least have black. So that whatever, you will always. So what I'm now saying is I have a model in my office. The girl can say, you see, you have a model. The model doesn't mean that she's a model on normal day. It may just mean that, I mean, she knows how to style. Twitter, how are you doing it now? I mean, even if sometimes you may not, if you want to feel like you don't want to be asking her, maybe you're shy, like you don't want her to look like her or be looking at you, you can just be like, you can just spam and be taking pictures every day. By the time you take pictures, you spend 1 month and you're taking pictures every day. In 1 month, you have like 20 pictures. Abi? 20 pictures, different pictures that should be that's something. It's not something. Like, no, that's not professional advice. So please, that's just I just say I should help you advice, not professional advice, please. Sir, excuse me. Right, so you want to focus on heels. I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. I'm not saying focus on the heels. I don't mean to focus on heels. You want to focus on shoes, black shoes, wine shoes, brown shoes, because they can go with any kind of outfits. Always make sure your shoes are good, your shoes are up to date. Sorry, is it up to date? But are good. Yeah, basically that your shoes are good. Like if you feel like you can wear heels, that's amazing. Like kind of heels that you wear, that's amazing. If you feel like heels are not your thing, so how I started to wear heels, like because before I used to be scared that if I go and wear heels, I'm a fall in this office. Like how please how do I want to so one way you can do is to start with wedge heels. Right? Start with wedge heels that you can easily carry. Start with wedge heels. Wedge heels will help you. Like you at least you'll still be able to walk, you not fall, you not be falling to the left and falling to the right. Right? So you can start with wedge heels. Then when you start with wedge heels, you can proceed to wearing heels. So there are certain heels that the bulk of the energy when you're standing on them, they fall towards the feet. Right? They fall towards the feet. Like so the the focus on the heel, like the inches, is minimal. So you can easily stand on them and you won't feel like you are shaking or something because the bulk of the energy is on your feet before the inches shall like right. Okay, I'm going to come back to that, Ola Tony. I'm going to come back to that. Right, so you want to move to that. Right, then after that you can start to practice in your house, or you start to go out to places, and then you just practice in beats. So if you're typically the kind of person who doesn't wear heels, you don't wear all these 6 8 12-inch heels, but you want to now wear it on one day, there's no way you will not fall. You're gonna fall. You fall because you're not used to it. So if this is something, this is not compulsory. I'm just saying that if this is something that you want to focus on, right, you just start from your level. Start from our level, the level of the wedge heels. So little by little, you'll be graduating and graduating. Right. So think about your shoes, think about your heels and all of that. And then of course there are sandals as well. Your company culture is important. As a person, I don't like sandals, right? I don't I don't think I have a pair of sandals. Like I don't have a pair of sandals, but you can like sandals. That's absolutely fine. The kind of sandals you wear also counts. Now let's move on to accessories. Are we? So now, Olarin Tony says, what of people like us that are tall and feel self-conscious in heels? Those of you who are tall and feel so now, why do you feel self-conscious in heels? I've seen I've had colleagues who were really tall and used to wear heels, and they don't care. Even like look and say, how will this tall person be wearing heels? It's our cup of tea. It's our problem. It's not your problem, right? So it's a self-esteem issue you will need to resolve. If you like to wear heels, irrespective of whatever people say, wear it like that. People will get used to it at the end of the day. People will get used to it. Like it's absolutely normal for people to ask. People will get used to it. So you don't stop. Like don't stop. Let's say, why are you wearing heels and you're tall like this? No, you don't stop. You just keep. I mean, it's something you want, right? Okay. Yeah. So all right. So we're moving to accessories now, and then yes, please for the guys as well, right? I recently learned for the men. I recently learned that there are some kinds of shoes you wear on native wears that you don't wear on how do I put it? That I don't wear on regular English wears. Because I was like they said they don't used to wear shoe that has lace on native. I'm like, who is looking at you? What's there? Was but then I just learned that these things are important, right? Also for guys, right? There's also the rule that if you're wearing a certain color of shoes, it has to match your belt. So you cannot wear black shoe and wear brown belt because it's the brown belt I had in my house. You cannot wear black shoe and wear green or navy blue belt. I said it fits. It fits. So these are, I mean, things that you want to focus on when you are dressing. It's not just don't think that because you're a guy, people don't follow. We used to look. We used to look. Oh, please. Don't say that because you're a guy, it's only women we're looking at. No, no, no. We notice. We notice all the errors, all the. But that's just by the just canvas on our brother. All right. So now we're going to move on to uh accessories, right? Accessories, the kind of earrings you wear, the kind of neck pieces that you wear, bangles that you wear, scarves that you wear. All of these things are important. And again, you want to look at the kind of culture that you have. In some common cultures, written, there are some they don't wear earrings that are so obvious, irrespective of whatever. They don't wear me. Hello, can you guys hear me? Yes, I was going to come back to that. Yes, style changes, right? Style changes. Yes. Style is dynamic. So there's also the need to understand there's also the need to understand your industry, understand the fashion industry, what is trending, what because there are certain things that work now that wouldn't have worked in like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So yes, style is dynamic, like very, very dynamic. So there are no hard and fast rules to style. So now when you talk about accessories, and when I mean accessories, I'm talking about your earrings, your neck pieces, your bangles. You want to consider your complexion as well. I learned this like several years back. The kind of complexion you have could tell on the kind of the colors of accessories that would fit you, just like outfits, just like clothes, right? So I noticed that silver jewelry looks amazing on me because of my complexion. Like it looks more amazing on me than gold. So you would rarely ever see, like on very few occasions where I put on gold stuff. Most of the time I actually put on silver, earring silver, neck pieces silver, because they complement my complexion perfectly. So you may also want consider things like that. You might have a complexion where there are certain kinds of colors that just look good on you. Like when you wear them, it just looks like you're just shining specially today. It's just shining, 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 shining. And of course, you also want to look at when you're also wearing your accessories. You want to look at the kind of outfits that you're wearing them on, right? You want to look at the kind of outfits you're wearing them on. For instance, you want to they often say that if your earrings are already dramatic, your necklaces should be simple. They should not be dramatic. If you're putting on an outfit that is not that is dramatic, there's certain outfits that are already dramatic. There's really no need to wear earrings that or neck pieces that are already dramatic, or bangles or bracelets or whatever it is. So you want to think about the outfit that you're wearing. I know that for a number of people, this might seem really crazy. It might seem like, oh, this is a lot. Where do I want to start from? And what I just always say is, don't stress yourself. As long as you keep growing, you would eventually, as long as you keep growing, you would eventually learn. You would come into the learning of it, right? You will come into the learning. Right. So yeah. So you want to think about neck pieces. You want to think about your earrings. Like I love necklaces a lot. Like a lot. I know them a lot. So I have, and one of the reasons I also love neck pieces is because they can change a particular outfit you have from drab to fab. Punchline. It's a half punchline, no. But they can change a particular outfit from drab to fab. So I could have a normal gown now, and this normal gown is just a normal gown on its own. It's a normal gown, and then the only thing I need to change the destiny of that gown is to wear a neck piece. I'm fine. I'm going to look like I'm going to look really good. So that's why I have a lot of neck pieces, right? Because I can wear them on anything and I'll be fine. Yes, like this. And I'm going to be really, really fine. It's because of how I'm sitting. That's why you cannot see the glory of my neck piece. But okay, so yeah, so they just help with your outfits. Well, you may want to be changing outfits or cross styling. They really help all of these things, right? So you also have scarves. So people have scarves. Maybe you want to tie scarves like Shola Allison. Yes. So you also have you can also have brooches. The one where you put on your clothes. You can have brooches as well. For guys, you can have cufflinks and all of that. So that's it on accessories, company culture, your personal style, what works for you, what you're confident in, and then also cross styling with other kinds of outfits. These things are super important. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we move on to we move on to face, right? We move on to face, and honestly, some people, it's not a compulsory thing. Me, I just believe that there are people who don't like to use makeup, but like that's just their beliefs. That's fine. If you will use it at all, aspire to use it well, whether it's going to be your powder, and it's a process. I mean, it's not something that would suddenly work. Whether it's going to be your powder, it's going to be your foundation, your makeup, and all of those things. I had to learn them, and I'm still learning because I'm not inclined to makeup on a normal day. Like it's not something that works for me. But I just found out, like, I think it was about 2 years ago. I just said that one day. I said that if I find myself in, an event mistakenly now, right, and makeup artist says something like, "Oh, I'm indisposed. I cannot come." Who will help me to do my makeup? Nobody. Nobody. And I think ladies can understand this better, especially ladies that have to be on bridal trains, because you just feel like, okay, so everybody is on the bridal train, they're all doing their makeup, you're just rushing to do their makeup, and then I'm just there, I'm asking, please can you help me do my makeup, please can you help me draw my brows, please can you help me do my powder. I did not like that. Right. I wanted to avoid it. I wanted to be able to say, okay, if I'm going somewhere, I can do this myself, even if it's not perfect, but at least it's acceptable. I can do it myself. So I had to start to learn by myself. So these are things that you can learn, right? So learn, what kind of color works for you. For instance, for me, I always ask, is this my color? Some colors and some, powder colors are not your colors. They will make you look out of place. Some lipstick colors, like I found out that there are different lipstick colors that don't work for me, especially for color red. So, people always say red works on everything, but I found out that I was having different red lipstick colors and then they were not matching my skin. Red, oh, same red, like different red. Till I now found a particular shade and I was like, oh, finally, I've gotten the shade though. So if I'm going to buy red like this, I'm going to pick place. I have about, I think, 3 or 4 different red shades of lipstick that do not match my skin. So I don't wear them. Right. So you also want to look at things like that. What fits my skin? Eyelashes, sorry, not eyelashes, your eyeshadow and all of those things. Basically, your face. For the guys as well, depending on your company culture, you want to look at your beards, you want to trim your beards very well. Please don't be carrying, uh, don't be carrying beard and I'm calling it bearded gang. It's not bearded gang. Please, if just groom yourself. Yes, they call it grooming for guys. They call it grooming. Please groom when you need to shave, right? When you need to, please help us to shave. Thank you very much. Right. So this are we together? Are we following? We're almost done. We are almost done. So are we following, Sha? Okay, thank you very much. So I mean, these are not hard and fast rules. They're just um they're just general rules, right? At the end of the day, you do what works for you. You do what puts other people into consideration. Yes, so yeah, some companies that deal in consumables don't allow birds. Yes, I also learned that medicine, the health industry. I learned, I'm not so sure, they don't allow birds too. What those long birds? They don't. In financial industries, at least, conventional financial industries or companies, they don't allow like a lot of birds as well. Yes, so yes, these are things that you want to, yes, banks do not. So these are things that you want to focus on. And then that's it on face, how you look, lips, your eyes, your brows, whatever. I mean, some people don't care about all of those things, but at least put in energy. Just put in energy, even if it's not just your thing. Just put in energy, right? And then finally, we're going to talk about hair, your kind of hair. Please, whatever style of hair you want to use, whether you want to be on low cut like I am on, or you want to make your hair, always make sure that your hair looks presentable, right? Always make sure that, or unless you're an hijabi and then you wear hijabs regularly, that's absolutely fine. But if you don't wear hijabs, the kind of wigs that you wear count, right? Well, I'm not an authority on wigs, but I've had, there are people who often say that, oh, a particular wig looks tacky or a particular whatever looks tacky. I don't like that. Before I go anywhere, if I have to show up at an interview, I always make sure that I get a haircut. It's super important for me because that's how I look. I need to look good. Yeah, I need to look really, really good. Whether I'm on like this one or I'm on dreads, I need to look good. So your hair counts, right? The kind of hair you make, mm, and in the industry as well. So some companies, you find out that they don't allow like those big Afro kind of hairstyles. Like they're going to say no. Some do not really mind. So these are things that you want to focus on, right? Now we are done with styling and outlook, and I am going to quickly touch on speech. speech. So because the topic of this module is styling, outlook, and speech. So now let's talk about speech. Speech is how you talk. And the first pointer for this, please are we following? The first pointer for this is that when you get into the workplace, when you get into a company, the first thing you want to ask is how exactly do they talk to each other? How do they talk to superiors? Right? So how do they talk to one another? And how do they talk to superiors? In some places, there's a way they how do I put this? In some places, their mode of talking, their mode of speech is absolutely casual. So they can come to work and crack jokes and everybody laughs. It's like it's an absolutely casual place. But in some places, there's a way they talk that looks like it's formal. Like the way they act, the way they talk looks like it's formal. So you can't go and just be cracking jokes and then you can't do that in that kind of situation. Or in that kind of environment. There are certain environments that you won't hear. It will be out of place for you to hear people speak on top of their voices. They still talk lowly. They talk it's always like, okay, this and this and this and this and this. So if you're the kind of person that you like talking very well, how are you, Mr. John? How was your week? You're just you have I know this because I have a naturally loud voice, right? So I have to consciously work on my voice when I'm in different areas, right? And then it's something that if something that I had to learn because I worked in a place that those people they know is to talk, they know is to shout. It's always like because it was a conventional place and then it was so uncomfortable for me. And a number of times my MD would just call because all of us had intercoms. And then my head will just call and say, Orifunke, I can hear your voice from my office. And it's not like I'm shouting. I'm just talking to somebody. I'm just saying, how are you with your life? It's not, oh, because I said, please, is that Orifunke I hear downstairs? I can hear her voice and his office was upstairs. Is that Orifunke? I can hear your voice. I can hear your voice. It wasn't a problem, but it was just for him, for where it was coming from. It was just so unusual. Like, why's your voice so loud? So you want to focus. There's some companies that are like that. Like you just be talking loudly, talking loudly, talking loudly. Like there's some companies that they allow you to be yourself. Okay, anyhow, shout and everything. So like speech is important. How you talk, right? There's also a way you talk to people. For instance. there's a way you also talk to people, like when you're at work, and then when there are altercations or when there are seeming altercations, and then I always tell people, like, don't fight in the office. You are right, you are not right. They are riding you, they are whatever it is. See, don't fight. Don't fight. I've experienced it before, and it wasn't a good sight to behold. It doesn't speak well of you. The office is not where you should be. If you know you want to fight, and you know that fight is hungering you, just set time as venue out of the office and fight outside. It doesn't speak well of you to be fighting in the office. Do you know why now? Do you know how many degrees I have? Do you know the university I went to? Please, please, like, just avoid fighting, even when it has to do with, even when you're right, and then whenever you're also speaking to people, there's also the need to talk in a way that doesn't seem accusatory, even when it feels like they're the ones who have hurt you. It doesn't feel accusatory, right? There are techniques to this thing, and then hopefully we're able to carve out a model where we can, train people better on that kind of in that area. But there's a way you talk to people. So there's a way I can talk to you, and then you feel like I'm blaming you, and already it's a problem, right? There's a way I can talk to you, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you didn't send the documents. For instance, okay, so somebody was supposed to send me a document, And then they didn't send me the document. And then I go to their desk and I send them an email, and then I'm saying, you didn't send the document. I asked you to send the document. Why didn't you send the document and all of that? So it sounds accusatory, right? But if I decide I want to become more empathetic, and then I'm asking them questions like, oh, I would like to check in. I noticed that you're yet to send the documents. Is there anything you need me to work on? There's actually something as empathetic speaking, empathetic writing. It's something you need to train yourself on how to write, and then get your message across even when you are angry, because there's in the workplace people will get you angry, your supervisors will get you angry, your colleagues will get you angry. You can't just be doing anyhow as if you are James Bond and be fighting with everybody. In your email communication, it's always like you're using accusatory tones, and then it's like you're always ready to fight, like what's always guiding, like there are techniques to speech. So when you're talking to people, you want to make sure that you don't always sound accusatory, even when they are in the wrong. You don't always sound accusatory. Also, you want to boils down to culture. There's a certain kind of there's certain way people speak in certain company cultures that might be different from others. For instance, in some companies, like, you can easily crack jokes about people, right? You can crack jokes about them, and then all of that. In some places, if you crack the slightest kind of joke, it's seen as out of place. In some places, like, they're comfortable with asking questions like, okay, so how is your family, how are they doing? In some places, if you ask them after their families, they're going to look at you like, what's your business with my family? Is that why we are here? Please mind your business. Don't ask me about my family, don't ask me about my wife, don't ask me about my children, don't ask me all of those things. So it is so important. And then also, with regard to speech, it can be learned. Like, you need to learn how to also speak in public. When we talk about public speaking, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are speaking in front of 5,000 people. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could also mean that you can talk in front of 5 people, in front of 10 people, in front of 4 people. It means that you can articulate your thoughts, right? Hi guys, can you hear me? Okay, can you guys hear me? I think I tripped off a bit. Can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. All right, awesome. Okay, yeah, awesome. I just lost my train of thought. Yes, so there are two. Emmanuel Owolabi says, for how long do we need to stay observant in a new workplace? Honestly, in the first week, you if you are serious, honestly, you will get all you need to know in the first week of staying in a place. You will know the people that they hate the most. You will know whether the people there are enjoying themselves. In the first week, you have sufficient information. In the first week, and if first week is not enough, a lot of times within 2 weeks, you understand. Hello guys, my network. So sometimes they will give you a grace period and say, oh, she just joined in 1 month ago, 2 months ago. Then after 3 months, if you are still acting out of place, it's always like, okay, it looks like she's not a perfect fit. And that's why a lot of probation periods are usually between 3 months and 6 months, because it's expected that within that period, you understand all that you need to understand about the role, what's the company. Are we together? So now, so two skills that you need to super learn, like learn and learn and learn: writing and speaking. Writing and speaking, because both writing and speaking have to do with articulating your thoughts to an audience, right? It has to do with articulating your thoughts, communicating with them with the hopes of getting a desired feedback that you have. Are we together? Please, are we together? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So they are so important how you write, because how you write determines how you are able to communicate. You, for instance, you want to do report writing, you need to know how to communicate all of those things. We spoke about this last segment in our last module on communication, right? Right. So it's so important. You want to write emails to people, you want to write whatever it is. It is so important. And it's the same thing with public speaking too, right? How you talk, developing your public speaking skills could be the game changer for you. Because if you don't have good public speaking skills, you might find it hard to negotiate for a better salary. You know that, right? You might find it hard to negotiate for a better salary. You may not be able to stand in front of an audience and then convince them that you are worth the job, or what a particular kind of role, or what's a promotion. I feel like if anybody has good public speaking skills, or if anybody can develop their public speaking skills, it's even going to benefit you when you have interviews, right? When you have interviews. So it's so important, like, it's too important for you to learn how to develop your public speaking skills. So they need somebody in your team to come and present to a team of like 100, and you're carrying like, no, I don't want to, I cannot talk. Oh, no, I don't want to talk. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's shall they go. Let's shall they go. Right? And then this thing, it starts happening from the university days. And I know some of you can relate. So you're in the university and then they give you people group work. And then you just feel like, I mean, I don't like talking in front of people. Though. So you just back out. Then you have somebody that is star student that knows how to talk in front. And then you just put her in front and says, oh, she's a star student. She knows how to talk in front of everybody. You'll be the one to present. Please, you're the one who will present this thing. So you put the person, and then the person is presenting from 100 level to 400 level. The person always presents. And what you don't know is that person is developing their public speaking skills. You are not, because you are scared. Now, sometimes you feel like you people are doing yourselves a favor, but you're not. You're not doing yourself any favor. So it's just so important. Like, I need to learn how to speak in public. I need to learn how to, how to talk, how to effectively communicate my thoughts. And you need to look at how to prepare, before you get to stages like that. Permit me to use the word stages. Let's learn how to prepare to use stages like that. And one of the ways to learn, like sometimes that I always say, I know if this is your sub, just be packing it. Don't worry. It's not personal. It's not personal at all. Right. And then I always say that you can improve your public speaking skills just by picking up your phone and recording regular videos. Yes, so people are so scared of recording videos, and I understand. But this, you can just record it. You won't die. People will watch. People will watch, but you won't die. Record the video. It's going to help you, especially when you get feedback. Record the videos. It helps you a lot. Another thing also is, for some of you, you join virtual classes where you're supposed to talk about stuff, and then when they say that, let's see your face, you just disappear. You don't want us to see your face, don't want us to hear your voice. But what you don't know is that situations like that, people don't often talk about it, but situations like that can also help you develop your public speaking skills, because you're speaking in front of people. So stop shying away from little opportunities, few opportunities. Stop shying away from opportunities to speak to people, whether virtual or online. It's not like okay. Please stop shying away from opportunities like that. Another thing that has helped me so far is that when I have when you have physical meetings with people, there are not many. There are just like 3, 2, and all of that. Maybe 3 or 4 people. When I'm talking to them, at least then, I know there are not a lot. There are not many. We're just a little. No, you're just a small meeting. But I want to address you. I'm going to stand up and address you, because it's going to give me the impression that I'm speaking to people. So, because there's a difference when you're just sitting down and speaking to just 3, 4 people. It's more like a conversation. But when you stand up to speak, it changes the dynamics, right? It changes dynamics. It gives you the impression that you're speaking to people. It helps you to control your your pace, helps you to control your mannerisms, like how you talk, how you gesticulate. It's not that you just be doing like this every time, every time. How you gesticulate, how you move, your body language, it helps you to control all of those things. So because that opportunity might not always be there. Yes, another one I don't want to mention, I don't want to forget this, is that you can also observe from people. You can also observe people who speak well in public. How do they talk? Right? What are their I'm not saying copy, of course, but what are their major mannerisms? What do they talk? At what point do they what's the word? At what point do they increase their paces while they're talking, or their voices? At what point do they bring down their voices? Yes, you can watch TED Talks, right? Watch TED Talks, but the thing about TED Talks is not every TED speaker is a good public speaker. So while you are watching TED Talks, you have to focus too. Not every TED speaker is a good public speaker. So don't go and take it and say, oh, so this person just stood. Some please, I don't want them to come and hold my neck. But you want to like be discerning. But create opportunities for yourself. Or if you have like you have a honestly, I feel like people need to create opportunities for themselves more. If you belong to a community and you want to develop your or a group or whatever, you want to develop your public speaking skills, you can reach out to the leader or the admin and tell them that I want to teach on so topic for free. They will a lot of times, a lot of groups, they'll welcome you, they'll say thank you, they'll be happy. So it's a win-win. You're giving them for free, you're giving them value for free, they're giving you a platform, you're developing your speaking skills. Right. So you need to be very, very open about creating, yes, maximize or create more opportunities to speak. Yes, it's so important. Like reach out to people if you feel like you don't have an audience, reach out to people. Oh, okay, I want to be able to create I want to be able to speak better, and then you need that opportunity, right? You need the opportunity, you need the platform. I'm looking at us creating a deeper model from this course where you train people on how to speak in public, writing and public speaking and all of that. So people just get you. So you have the platform, because when it also comes to what's it called? When it also comes to teaching, a lot of people who have platforms are usually very skeptical about the people they bring on board, because I think I tweeted this some days ago where I said that not everybody who is knowledgeable can actually teach, right? Not everybody who knows something can talk, can speak in public. So if I'm giving you my platform and you don't know how to speak in public, you don't know how to teach, it's going to be paining me. Do you understand? So these are things that you also want to focus on. So at least look for small organizations, sorry, so small opportunities where you can maximize, where you can develop the skill of speaking. You need to learn how to speak in front of people. It's very important. Learn how to do presentations. Learn how to do presentations. Like from now on, never ever shy away from the opportunity to speak in front of people. So I think this is where I'm going to put a stop and call our class a day. And then I want you guys to start to ask your questions, like whatever questions, comments, reservations, criticisms that you have. I want you guys to start suggestions, whatever it is, whatever kind of questions you have. So this is where I take them before we say bye. Yes, like choosing to be the course rep of a course in uni. Yes. Being a course rep helps your leadership skills. It helps your public speaking skills as well. Right. Yes. Kemi, and let me know what you've learned as well. Kemi says, never shy away from the opportunity to speak in front of people. Yes, even if you're uncomfortable, even if you feel like, oh, they will laugh at me, they won't laugh at you. They will not laugh at you. And also, there's one other thing I want to mention. A lot of times, right, people are often scared of speaking in public because you feel like, whenever you speak in public, people will be looking at you. They'll be looking at your shoe. They'll be looking at your hand. They'll be looking at the way you're doing your hand, the way you're talking. So you are so self-conscious, right? But what I often tell people is that whenever you attend an event, right? What do you actually focus on? And somebody is speaking, I'm very sure most of the time you're focused on getting value from the person. You don't be looking at whether their shoes is Oshenule, they are stammering, or you're not looking at all of those things. You just want to take value from it. So if you can react to other people like that, why do you think your case will be different? I know your case is different, but why do you think it will be different in that kind of opportunity? Right? So stop being self-conscious, right? Stop being self-conscious. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Olani says, I will not shy away from opportunities anymore. Yes, don't shy away. I will put myself out there more. I will volunteer for presentations much more. And the good thing about volunteering on small spaces is that you are able to, you are able to make all the mistakes that you can make when not many people are watching, right? Because at least when you're in a small group and you're making mistakes, only 40 people are there, only 20 people are there, people can easily pardon the mistakes that you make. But if you can't make that kind of mistake on a platform where you have like 1,000 people or more people, it's going to tell in how you it's going to tell in how they take you. So it's best to just utilize opportunities, those small opportunities, because that's how you grow. So Kolawole Damilare says, what will you say to people with a low voice? Practice. Honestly, practice and coaching. Yes, I mean, I don't want to say practice alone, because sometimes you need coaching for practice to work. But practice and coaching, yes. It doesn't mean you have to start shouting. No, you have to start shouting. Some people, the fact that you have a low voice is not a weakness, but you also need to practice how to often raise your voice, like leave your comfort zone. Because for somebody like me now, my comfort zone when I'm speaking is talking loud. So leaving my comfort zone would mean me coming down and then talking slow, and then in a low voice, and I have to do that often. But for you who you naturally have a low voice, you will need to train yourself to leave that comfort zone, right? You need to train yourself to leave the comfort zone and move on. And move to a better, it's not like you always be shouting basically, right? Not like you be shouting, but you will train yourself to speak in a higher voice so that people can hear what you're saying and take from what you're saying. And always remember to get constructive feedback too, because sometimes when you speak in public and then you ask some people, how did I do? Doctor, you did fine, you did amazing, it was nice. They won't tell you that you weren't talking well, you weren't speaking loud enough. They won't tell you that you weren't articulate. They won't tell, they'll just tell you that it was nice. No, you want to be particular about constructive feedback. You want to look at constructive feedback, right? And then even if it doesn't have to be everybody, it has to be some people. It has to be a few people. For instance, I asked, I often ask my boyfriend when he has the opportunity to be on my calls, okay, what do you think I need to work on? And then he says, you need to, speak more slowly, because I'm a naturally fast-paced talker, right? My life is fast-paced. I don't like smell, right? So it says, well, you need to calm down when you're talking, and then it's something I'm working on as well. So you need to calm down. It's okay. I'm like, okay, it's fine. We're going to learn. So you need at least people who tell you stuff like, okay, I want you need to work on this. You're doing good. You need to work on this. You need to work on this. You need to work on that. You need to work on that. So does anybody have any more questions? Any more questions? All right. So, while I'm, rounding off and waiting for more questions or comments, please don't forget to drop in your orbs. So, Titi Lopez Ajela says, after the last class, on developing communication skills. I started posting more about the things I'm interested in and tell people to give feedback. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. The proof of knowledge is in action, right? So anybody can say I learned so and so thing, but it's not sure. You can't be certain that they know what they say they've learned. So when you learn something, please take action on it immediately, like almost immediately, so that you don't forget, right? So that you don't get weary, so that you can get it done immediately. So I'm glad that you're taking action. That's actually amazing. It's so encouraging to hear. Confidence says you have one office model already. Though you didn't know at the time that you were modeling, I just liked dress sense. I was taking photos of her. That's amazing. Yes, that's good. That's amazing. So, Barnabas says, watching good public speakers to learn their mannerisms and way of speaking, and also looking for small platforms to practice public speaking. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So please, drop your key takeaways from the session in your different hubs. Please drop them in your different hubs. What did you learn the most? If you're not dropping in your hubs, please drop on Twitter as well. I'm on Twitter at Orifunke. So you can drop on Twitter and use the hashtag YPAP with OL. I always retweet everything. So let me know like what this session, how this session was for you, what you learned. But yes, so your ups and on Twitter, if you want to post on Facebook as well or Instagram, just let me know. So in the absence of further questions, I am going to say thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys have a really good night. Thank you. Yeah, bye. See you in our next class, and it's going to be our final class. Next and final class. Yes. Yeah, good night.